Hey everyone, it's that guy over there bringing the game three and final game of the Metagames tournament. Lizardmen versus Ogre Kingdoms, 2,600 points. Um, yeah, so I'm showing you, he's starting to deploy his guys. We're playing, what is it, Dawn Attack, Meeting Engagement, whichever one, we got to roll a dice, and on a one, that unit has to sit out or whatever until the first turn. Yeah, so I wanted to roll off for table sides and to deploy first, so I set up like this. My opponent's starting to set down his units, so I figured I'd start taking some pictures. Um, I figure on the far right is I was going to try to do like this sweeping around motion. I didn't think he'd have very many big units. I thought he'd have smaller units and then like two big gut stars or whatever. So um, I was hoping that maybe, depending on how he deployed, that was what those guys were going to do, or if nothing else, they were pretty quick, so they could move back to where the action was. And then here was my center. Uh, this is, by the way, this is the table from game one. So, but the sun has gone behind the building or whatever, so now it's much more hospitable. Teto Echo, because he's got cannons now, he's hiding in a unit of skinks. And here's the right. You might be asking, where's my Saurus? Where's my Slan? There seems like a lot of things that are missing. Well, this is what I have for guys sitting out for the first turn. So, yikes. Really bad, really bad. I rolled 5 1s out of my units. So whatever. I think he had like a saber tooth sitting out. No, he had a unit of an iron blaster and lead belchers, which isn't as bad as it is for a normal cannon because I think they can move and shoot. So here's his deployment. He's got 11 iron guts, some characters. He's got 7 bowls, some characters, 4 dragon ogres, 4 lead belchers, an iron blaster, and a saber tusk. And remember, he's got an iron blaster and another unit of 4 lead belchers off the table. So Lizardman turn 1. I move up, as you see. The skinks are kind of sneaking around the side. Here you see some of the units coming on. That was a bad place to put the Bastildon, by the way, but you'll see later. Move on that Lizardman, not on the hill. I move him off to the right of the hill, just because I didn't want to have to deal with it like I did last game, where you gotta teeter-totter around it, which will come back to get me. Yep, here we're moving around. The one unit of rippers that started on the table, they flew around like my unit did last game. Because there's nothing back here, right? Yeah, right. Lizardman 1 still. This is magic. I shoot lasers, my solar beams or whatever, solar engines. They pick off 2 ogres. I think my other solar beam. Maybe I shot death magic. But see, what I should have done is charge those lead belchers with the Troglodon, but instead I was thinking I was so crafty with my death magic that I thought I'd just pick off one of these guys instead, which worked. Because they're only like toughness 4 and strength 4 or something like that. Yep, so shooting does another wound, I think. Some other shooting, I think I shoot a flame template from the salamander. He does a couple more wounds. Here's this. Yep, yeah, that's just me showing flaming those guys. All right, Ogre Kingdoms 1. He charges the salamander with the I think those are bowls right there. Ogre Kingdoms have always been this weird esoteric army to me. It's so hard for me. I don't know. They've just got a lot of really bizarre things. So the bowls charge the salamander. I flee. And by the way, the guy that is playing this the army he borrowed from someone because he's trying to learn fantasy also. So this game was fraught with rules questions about certain things, and um, but we worked through it. And again, another really great guy, just trying to learn, trying to, just like me, figure out this game, or at least the new edition. Um, Here's the center here. He's moving forward. There's a big long gap between us, so that's good. The bulls are starting to close it, and the iron guts also, but they're going slow for them. Um, yeah. So here's where things are starting to get kind of crazy. So you see the lead belchers behind the rippers. Yeah, that's gonna be bad for me. I When I moved them back there, I was like, great, I'll be able to charge these lead belchers in the rear, and I didn't even think about the uh, lead belchers coming out and off the table edge and just blowing them to pieces. But here they are. I should have just what I should have done. This army has a lot more shooting than the other two I faced, so I shouldn't have been so dodgy. I should have just tried to get stuck in, and try to hold up the shots, because that iron blaster is pretty nasty, as well as, and the lead belchers are also. Um, yeah, I thought this was kind of funny. If you see that little metal clip in the salamander or in the skinks, my opponent's ruler, he retracted it and it broke that little metal piece off, so he couldn't pull the. Luckily I had another tape measure that I could hand him, but the metal piece came flying off into my skink unit, and we couldn't find it for the longest time. And I think I went to move him, and there it was sitting in there. It was pretty funny. Uh, yeah. So he casts, I think, the regeneration spell. It I just let it go. He Yeah. So I mean, it did something where it lets him get more, like, +1 to roll any future gut spells or whatever, and it just it didn't come into play. Yeah. So here's the under the table, my display board, the little display board of shame. This guy gets shot by cannon, dies, which panics the other Bastillodon and runs off the table. So he's dead. Then the iron blast or lead belchers take 3 wounds off the Troglodon, and the iron blaster finishes them off. So now I'm down all my monsters, and it's just his first turn. I was like, man, this is not good, not good at all. So yeah, so that's the lead belchers blowing away the rippers, just completely eating them. He only kills 5 skinks, but I think that's enough for them to break, and he overruns. Um, when they okay, so the skinks way in the back fled when that unit of skinks got wiped out by the dragon ogre. So now they're way back behind enemy lines, which is pretty funny. I think that they're fleeing. All my for whatever reason, I always have units fleeing off my opponent's table edge. I don't know how frequently that happens. So Lizardmen turn 2, I charge the dragon ogres that had overrun over the skinks. They flee, pop through the lead belchers, and I was hoping that they would flee too, but they stayed. But they barely stayed on the table. My salamander rallies. I'm just trying to avoid these two things. At this point, I feel like I'm about to get overrun. This is how I was feeling the first game, right before the Warriors of Chaos just completely swamped me. So, yeah, in Magic before I had rolled the Purple Sun, and I kind of have a thing against Purple Sun, but um, I thought, let me just go ahead and try 6 dice this thing. Maybe something cool happened. Maybe I'm just gonna misfire and kill myself. Who knows? Let's just go for it, because this game's gonna be over pretty quick if I don't do something. So throw all my dice. I roll really low. My opponent tries to dispel it, rolls equally low, and it goes off. And perfect shot. I rolled a 10, and the arrow, yeah, I rolled a 10 and shot it straight through, touching almost all these guys, which is really bad for ogres, because like when the Pit of Shades opens up, they their initiative so low that they like run over to see what it is and trip and fall in the hole. Like it missed them the first time, and they go to see what it is and die. And just like Lizardmen, Lizardmen or Lizard Initiative 1, but you can see the damage that it does. All the characters die, yeah, out of that unit, and he's just down to 5 Iron Guts, which is so bad. He was joking that, for a while there, it seemed like all of his little line guys were passing all their tests, and his characters just were rolling 5s and 6s for initiative, and he's rolling 1s for everybody else. So those guys live, but they break, they run away. And 8th edition has a lot of crazy magic spells, but this is what they're there for. They're there so that you can deal with the Death Star type units that you wouldn't otherwise be able to deal with. So I guess I'm okay with it. But yeah, I felt pretty low at this point because I just rolled some dice and wiped out his probably 1,000-point unit. And then they fled. So yeah. My Rippers had charged into this cannon dealio, the other unit that had come on, and they lose a member, but they keep him held up for a little bit longer. Yep, so remember how I said, oh, I'll just wheel around the right? No, I'm not going to wheel around the right. It turns out I'm wheeling around the left side, so all my left-hand units are still alive. To the right, everything's pretty much been wiped out. The Skinks rally, which is kind of cool. But yeah, everything else is as you see it. I'm just trying to keep away from his units at this point because I'm feeling pretty good about my position. So I'm trying to sneak around, maybe pick off that Iron Blaster, and then deal with whatever Ogre units get within charge range. Yep, so here's this. Nothing of note really happens the rest of my phase. I hold up the cannons, other than that, I'm just trying to position myself well to deal with all these Ogre threats. On his turn, his Ogre or Iron Guts rally. These guys are all rallied over here. Yeah, so we were joking that how the purple sun was right in front of his Iron Guts. We were joking that they were gonna rally, turn and face it, and then was just gonna run him over again. And that's not actually what happened. What actually happened was he had moved his other unit up, and it rolled a perfect 10, perfect scatter through his iron bowls. It was like, I don't know what, and the dice are still there just to show, but it hits all of them. And he had moved him forward to try to come after my Croc Scourge because he was like, I just need to hit something really. And yeah, so these guys get run over. It shoots all the way over here and completely destroys the unit except for the character. So now that purple sun has killed both of his giant blocks. And now I'm feeling even worse because I felt like my last Hail Mary pass, it worked, and it worked too well. Now the game I don't know. I'm glad that 8th edition took into account that there are Death Stars, that you need ways to deal with the Death Stars, but holy cow, brutal. I think this misfire is one of his, because you're going to see in a little bit that his Iron Blaster died. I think he actually blew himself up, or maybe he couldn't shoot anymore because he misfired and jammed or something. I don't know. But yeah, he misfired, so I'm saved from cannon shots. You see this here. Oh, this is his combat. They kill another Ripper. The Rippers are actually keeping this guy held up for quite a while. So not being able to be stomped helps out a lot, I think, because I think these guys can stomp. Maybe they're just chariots. Who knows? Again, all these esoteric rules. Guys with cannons for guns and chariots that are cannons and also some sort of woolly mammoth thing. I don't know. So, my opponent was making some moves or something, and I put the little black toad marker on this guy's shoulders, and I thought that was kind of funny. Yep. So he moved the guy, and the black toad fell off, and he's trying to put it back up on his shoulders. But yeah, um, this is my turn 3. Obviously, the Iron Blaster didn't misfire because there he is, or explode himself anyway. I charge with the Rippers. He flees, and then I don't catch him, so I'm just right there. I rolled really low. I needed like a 15, and I rolled not enough, so there I was. The Purple Sun is really close to the table edge, but at this point, I just wanted to go off the table because it's about to wipe out me, even though that'd be fair, but I just wanted to go away. The poison shots pick off that Iron Gut, or the Iron Blaster. The Iron Guts are going to be charging those Rippers, though. I think that Iron Blaster has 4 wounds, but he kills off the last of the Rippers, and they might only have 5, but yeah, he's doing well against that guy. The Rippers actually took him pretty well. If I had put Black Toad markers on them, then maybe I would have actually gained some benefit, because I can't killing blow an Ogre anyway. Yep, so the Iron Guts, this is Ogre Kingdom turn 3, charges in with the the Iron Guts. He's finally getting back into position with all of his Lead Belchers and Dragon Ogres. That Sabertooth had broken at some point, and he's just going to run off the table, I think. The Purple Sun moves dangerously close to my units. I thought I was going to run over my Salamander, but it didn't. Yep, I think he shot off. Yeah, I had 4 guys in the back rank, and now I only have 2, so he must have shot him off. He picks off another one. This is the turn that the Lead Belchers really didn't do anything. They really just kind of fluffed their shots. My Salamander's hiding behind that rock, because like in game 1, you can't see him over these little tiny rocks. He beats me, but he doesn't kill me off, so he pursues me to there. Let me see. It's saying Lizardmen turn 4. Maybe I rally at this, I don't know, or fail to rally and keep running. But maybe that's what I'm showing. I tried to charge this guy with a bunch of different units, and he ends up running all the way over here. Yeah, I rallied these guys. That's why I'm facing this way. I shoot my lasers and stuff at this unit here, and I kill some more guys. So now he's down to 3. Because if I can kill all the Iron Guts off completely, that would really be a lot of points. If you look at the dice there, because there's one of those little in the quadrants. One of them is darker than the others, and that's the one that if you have to scatter, you use that one. So it ends up scattering off the table. Yep, this is just showing where I'm at now. I'm just trying to encircle this unit. Did a guy come back? It looks like a guy. I don't know what happened here. Somehow a guy came back, but maybe he's just fixing him or something when I took that picture. I'm taking too many pictures of zoomed up close guys, so it's kind of hard to see what's all going on. But I picked some more shots off him. He's only got 1 wound left. That's what that's showing. Ogre Kingdoms turn 4. He charges. I don't run far enough. He catches it, that Ripper, and turns around. And then he charges in, long bong charge. It's actually not that far away. He gets the character who had rallied into the flank. He gets the Lead Belchers, both units of Lead Belchers and the Dragon Ogres in. I was like, wow, it's turn 4, but I don't think I'm going to be able to hold up. I thought this was going to be a lot of attacks. I thought I was really in trouble. And he kills only a few. Let's see how many. Maybe 7. And I only kill like 1. Do I even kill anything? It doesn't look like I kill anything. But I hold because I'm stubborn. And at this point, my opponent had to leave because he had to go to work or something like that. So, and it's just kind of, at this point, maybe I would say, okay, and this is how many points I had, and this, but we tallied up all the points, and this originally was reported as a loss because I hadn't killed enough to get a full unit or something like that. Yeah, I killed 1 unit of bulls in like the Iron Blasters, and he'd killed like all my monsters and stuff. so it got reported as a loss. But because I didn't have 2 turns to make it up, like we had plenty of time left, and they turned the loss around and they made it a win, and they just averaged all the points of the winners. So I don't know how fair that really is. Basically, it took me from 5th to 4th place. So out of the 10 or 12 people there, that kind of put me right around above average, or right above center mass. Um, so really, I'm not going to say I was 5th. I'm not going to say I was 4th. I'm going to say this ends in a big question mark because I'm not sure how this would have gone. Um, I ended up winning a $50 like a giveaway. Everybody was in a raffle. It was kind of cool because obviously if you won games, you got more tickets in this raffle, and if you had painted units, you got stuff in the raffle, and so anybody could win those. And I think you actually got more from the raffle prizes than you did from first, second, third. So it made it less of a cutthroat type tournament. It made it more of, the first place guy got a $30 gift certificate, and then it was 10, 20, and 10. Everybody else was getting raffle prizes. The best painted monster got got a prize, and so it made it a lot less cutthroat. So I guess I'll end it with that. Officially, 4th place, but I feel like that's more of a technicality because he had to leave early. But anyway, it was an enjoyable game, enjoyable tournament. Maybe I'll do a separate video as far as notes on my Lizardmen list, and because really at no point did I think that I brought subpar choices. I just thought I wasn't using them right. Like my rippers never got into the units that I put blot toad markers on, which, how does that? That's completely on me. I'm either marking the wrong units or I'm not using my rippers correctly. So definitely something to work into my future games is if I mark something that really needs to be the target. There's no psychological warfare that I've seen on some forums where you put over blot toad on somebody just to make them think that you're coming for them. No, I mean you really need to put them on the units that you're going to expect to charge and kill, because after that first unit, the rippers aren't going to survive. They're just going to kill one thing, maybe 2 things. If you blot toad 3 different things, then it just gives you more options as to what you can charge. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, I appreciate it if you made it to this far in my little video series, and I promise I'm getting better as time goes on at taking photos correctly, building a story, and then telling it. So anyway, if you have any suggestions, feel free to subscribe, comment, message me, do whatever. I'll be putting it up on the Amber Order. That's our Facebook page. If anybody's in the Central Missouri area, the Amber Order, we're pretty much the fantasy group around here. And then Lustria Online, the Lizardman webpage. That's what I use that too. So they'll be up there. Anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate all the opponents who sat through my picture taking. Hopefully I represented your lists correctly. Yeah, because I'm sure if I misquoted something, then somebody will post up. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And yeah, so comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.